Hey everybody. Um, First I'd like to apologize for the sort of different lighting. I'm not sure if this is going to be better or worse. Um, but the 200 watt light bulb that I used for many years for backlighting on videos, that broke a few days ago, unfortunately, after I knocked it off of my workbench. So the bulb, like the glass didn't break, the filament itself actually like broke. So that bulb, unfortunately, is no more. So until I get another bright light bulb, this is going to have to do for now. I've just got all the other ceiling fan light kits on, and I found another uh, reflector floodlight bulb that's not as bright, but hopefully should be better than nothing. Anyway, what you see here is a Panasonic night ceiling fan. This is one of four, I think, models that Panasonic produced, at least here in the States. Um, I believe there were only four from what I've deduced from my research. This one it was their more generic, traditional style ceiling fan. It's a very, you know, generic looking fan basically with the GE vents and traditional motor housing, nose and blades and everything. But this one, it's a little bit different if you look closely. A little bit. It has some unique characteristics. Now, I got this one yesterday from my favorite salvage store. I did not take a video there, unfortunately, but there were a few new things. I might make a video. I might go back there again this week and make another video. But I did meet with a fellow fan collector um, who had actually notified me that this was there, and I very promptly went over and got it because I do not have a Panasonic, uh, or didn't have one before this, and I really wanted one, so now I've got one, and I'm really happy to finally have one. Um, so yeah, this one, it's it's kind of weird. It's got a motor. The motor is cast aluminum. I'm not sure if I would consider it a skeletal motor or not. I think I'd probably classify it as semi-skeletal. There are like two openings on either side of the end bell. The bottom end bell, I don't think the top one has any vents on it. But yeah, they're like large gaps, I guess. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's not really skeletal, but it's also like, it's weird. It's very strange. But I can say that the motor is made by Matsushita Electrical Company, who manufactured motors for Panasonic products. They manufactured a lot of electronic parts for them. Um, like they made their portable fans, and they also they were a supplier of parts for Panasonic. Um, Probably connected to the company actually, but I'm not entirely sure like all the details of how those companies work and everything. This fan, it was made in probably around 1985 or so. I've seen other models that look exactly like this one that are from around that time period. And the information tag is like rubbed off on top. The actual like writing has been rubbed off. So I don't know exactly what the model number would be, but I believe, judging by other videos I've seen of these, I think that this would be model F-5215, because it seems like all the other um, knights that are of this variation are that model. Now, there was a slightly earlier version of these that was, I believe, labeled KDK instead of Panasonic, that had a slightly bigger canopy. It was like almost like a bell canopy. Um, and those, I think, were a little bit earlier than this one. Other than the bell canopy, they were pretty much identical. But yeah, right after that was sometime after they produced that one, they switched to this more generic ball socket design with a sort of conical canopy. And the ball is very large, and it can be uh, installed on, I think, up to 35 or so degree um, slope ceiling. So yeah, very heavy duty. And it's one of the earlier fans to use a ball socket system, so Panasonic was definitely ahead of their time in that aspect. Now, yeah, it is in a polished brass finish. The blades are walnut. I think all of these Panasonic residential ceiling fans had walnut blades. And other than the canopy, the other thing that is like not as generic on this would be the blade arms. As you can see, they're a lot different from like the traditional, like, do I have one over here? No, I don't. Like the traditional crescent blade arms that have the two bars in the middle. These only have the singular bar in the very center that divides the blade arm into two halves. So it's a little bit different. The nose is also slightly chunkier, I think, and it has a different nose cap. And there is a Panasonic label on the side of the nose that you can't really see next to the pull chain. I'll show you that after I test the fan. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else really to say about it. The pull chain extension is not original. It didn't come with an extension when I got it, but it would have originally had a tassel, and it would have been connected with one of those like weird jump ring things that Panasonic used on pretty much all their ceiling fans for their pull chains. Yeah, so unfortunately I didn't get it with that, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and start the fan up on high. And it did come with this pretty long, I think that's like an 18-inch long down rod, so it hangs pretty low in my shop, but I don't know, I might leave that down rod on just in case I need an application. I need a fan with a longer down rod for some sort of application, I guess. So there's a slight bit of wobble, but it's really not all that bad. I didn't even do anything to balance it. This is just as I got it. And the blades all seem pretty much in line. So yeah, it performs really well. I don't know if I definitely was expecting it to perform good, but yeah, definitely moving a lot of air. And it's like pretty much dead silent too. Turn it down to medium. Yeah, the motor in this one is pretty much 100% silent. I can hear like maybe like a faint hum from it, but absolutely no bearing noise, no cyclic hum or anything. And that's pretty much typical of all these. These Matsushita motors are really, really good quality. So this medium it's not super fast, but it's not like terribly slow either. I think it's perfect, honestly. Still moving a lot of air. I don't think there's any wobble now. Alright, let's see what low does. I think that's about down to speed. And it is a very, very nice aesthetic, slow restaurant low that I love. So yeah, Panasonic definitely knew what they were doing. And they did not produce these, they didn't produce ceiling fans for very long. which is why it's so uncommon to find a Panasonic, and why it took me this long to find one. See, a very, very nice slow low. I can still feel a slight breeze from it too. Alright, back up to high. And spin down. It's probably going to have really good bearings. Okay, yeah, I didn't see any kickback there. That was actually a surprisingly short-ish spin down time. I don't know if maybe the blades aren't quite as heavy or something, but yeah, the bearings seem good, so interesting. Flip it up to reverse and start it on low this time. Okay, that's, I think, up to speed. Still really nice and slow. Okay, medium. I actually have not tested it in reverse yet, so I don't know what it's going to do. That seems about the same. And finally high. The wobble looks like it might be a slight bit better. Yeah, I don't think there's quite as much wobble. There's still a little bit, but not as much as in forward. Okay. All right. I'll show you this fan up close now. So here we go. So there's that Panasonic label on the side of the nose that I mentioned. Very nice big text. I find it interesting that they put it there on the side of the nose and not on the side of the motor housing. But I guess there were a lot of companies that were doing that back then. Like, they're probably trying to copy Casablanca, honestly. But yeah, this kind of chunky nose that goes way up there, like into the motor end bell. And then the blade arms with the singular dividing bar. That's how, this is like this standard, like, designating feature to how you can tell it's a Panasonic, is this style blade arm was like their design. Although a few companies did use that design as well. And then here's this crystal ball pull chain extension that's not original. Walnut blades, which are plain on both sides. And then you can't really see the motor, but it is cast aluminum, and there's this sort of plastic sheet that covers it for some reason. I don't know what the deal with that is. It's screwed on, so it's like permanently part of the motor. Probably just to cover the aluminum parts, honestly. Nice thick housing. And then there are GE vents on both the top and bottom plates. And then on top here, that's where the informations would be right there, but it's been unfortunately rubbed away, where the Panasonic logo and model number would be. And right here it says motor made in Japan by Matsushita Seiko Company Limited. I believe that's the same as the Seiko Clock Company. I think they were a division of Matsushita. And then that's just hanging the blades above, no lower than 7 feet from the floor or something like that. Yeah, 18-inch down rod. Here's that sort of interesting canopy that they have, secured with 4 screws, and thankfully the screws were present. I find with these sort of mounts that the canopy screws directly to the bracket, those screws are often missing for some reason. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything I left out. Yeah, so this is a very nice fan. I'm very, very happy to finally have a Panasonic. So thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video.